Hello, my name is Axel, and today I will show you how to use the VLOOKUP function. So, what is the VLOOKUP function? VLOOKUP is a function that searches for a value in a column, for example, and then returns a value that is, for example, in another column. So, let's go to the first exercise here. The VLOOKUP function here. We look up Mike, so we want to look up his salary. Now the table array here, we mark it. We only need to use this as our array. We can use this as well, but we don't need to. So we go like this. And then what is the column index number? Okay. So which column index number does our salary have, monthly salary? So in our range, the columns are indexed from what that starts at 1 and it goes from left to right. So this name column here is number 1, and this C column here, monthly salary, is number 2. So here it is number 2 we want. And then for the last argument here, you see that there are square brackets here, and that means it is optional. So we fill out with false here because we want an exact match. And if it isn't an exact match, you might get the incorrect value or an error. So we use this one, and then close it. And we get that the Mike's salary is 3,000. All right, so let's go to the next exercise here. And here we will see some limitations with this function. So we do the same thing here, look up value, we want to look up Robert's salary. And then the table array here is this array here. We can do this if we want to, but we don't need to. So I'll do this in this case. And then where is the values we want to return? In which column? Well, it is in the first column here with the salaries. And which index number does that have? Well, it's the first one, so it's number 1. And then we can, instead of typing false, we can type 0. It is basically synonymous with false. 0 and false are the same thing here. And we get an NA error. Now, the reason we get an NA error here is because that the monthly salary is to the left side of the names. So we cannot look up any value for these names that are to the left side of it. It has to be on the right. So in this case, when the table is structured like this, we can only search for the entities for each name. So how do we solve this problem then? Well, you either have to use another function or you have to move the table or the column here manually. So we're gonna move this, shift, left click, and move this to the left here. And now we can use our VLOOKUP function. So we do that, Robert, array here. And then the index is number 2 here, because now our salary is on the second column in the range here. And then use false. False or 0. And we get Robert has a monthly salary of 7,000. Alright, in exercise 3 here, our goal is to fill in an ID for each of the items here. So we're going to look up here, each item here, and then look up in this table array, and then return the ID. And we will paste this formula down all the way here. So let's use the VLOOKUP here. lookup value is item B. And where's the table array? It is over here. And then also don't forget to lock this one with F4 or there. Then what's the column index number? It is, remember, 1 and 2. So it is number 2 we want here. Number 2, and we want an exact match. That. And then you copy this formula all the way down and paste it. And then we can verify here. Item B, 598. Item A, 586. Item C, 587. Yes, and it seems to be correct here. Alright, so let's move to the next exercise here. Alright, so here we're actually going to use an approximate match. But rarely use it. Rarely, there's very few cases you should use it. In general, you should use an exact match always. But I will show you one case here where you could use an approximate match. So let's say we want to give a tax rate for each income here. And here we have a range here. So if you make between 0 and up to 2000, you will get 10% tax rate. And then 2000 to 4000, 20%, and then 4000 to 8000, 30, and over 8000 is 40. All right. So then we use our VLOOKUP function here. And then our lookup value is our income. And then the table array are these two columns. So don't forget to lock it. And then what we want to return. We want the tax rate. And it's on the second column. So number 2. And now we use an approximate match. You can use true or number 1. They're the same thing. And then we copy and paste and double check here. 5600, correct. 1950, correct. And most of these are correct. So what it does here is that it rounds down. It rounds down to the value below it. So 1900 rounds down to the 0 here. 5600 rounds down to 4000, and 3400 rounds down to 2000, etc. So this is one example how we can use the approximate match. Alright, so let's go to the next exercise here, final one. And here we're going to look up the salary of Sophia. But you see something strange here. There's these weird letters and text before and sometimes after the names. So then we can use something called wildcard. We use quotation marks, star quotation. That means we get all the values here that is before Sophia. Don't forget the ampersand here. And then we use our lookup value reference here. And then use ampersand, double quotation mark, star quotation. This means everything before and after Sophia is what we will look up. Everything before and Sophia and everything after. So then we use the table array here. We can use this because we want a monthly salary, but I'll just do this in case. We don't need to lock it unless we want to copy for Alice. The column index number is number 3. 1, 2, 3. And we want an exact match. So let's double check here. Sophia monthly salary is 8,900. That's correct. And let's do it one more time, but we want the tax rate for Alice. So let's use VLOOKUP here. Use the wildcard here, remember? Add reference Alice here, and then another ampersand, double quotation, star, and our table array is here. And then the index column is number 4. And we want an exact match. So now we will double check here. Alice is right here. It is 10%, and it is correct. So these are a few examples on how you can use the VLOOKUP function. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more.